Bruce, you're retired, but you're still a tough act to follow. I could talk about this topic for a long time, but I won't. My wife will be my timekeeper. Mary and I give money to this church for 4 reasons. First, that's what members do. In fact, the church actually asks us to give the 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. For those of you who may be considering joining this church, you need to know that we are one church with 2 campuses. The Wake Forest campus offers the more traditional worship service, whereas the Rollsville church is a more contemporary church service. I'm pleased to report that Pastor Jim, in his most recent membership class, had 17 people in that class. Secondly, Mary and I give money to this church because we believe in the mission of this church, which is to change lives for the better, fostering relationships with Jesus. And we do this in many ways. And this is only a partial list. In-house, we have Sunday worship, we have Sunday school classes, the music groups, and you saw some of them here today, and Bible studies. In the larger community of Wake Forest, Rollsville, Youngsville, and others, we have things like the partnership with Wake Forest Elementary School, the Bazaar, which is next Saturday. Y'all come. It's a good time. Fish fries, the youth yard sale. Trunk or treat, which is this afternoon. Hopefully your kids will be here. Vacation Bible School sees a lot of kids from throughout the area, not just our own Wake Forest family, church family. Then we have the Scouts, boys and girls, many different scouting groups. Alcoholics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Suicide Survivors, Preschool. Preschool meets here 4 days a week throughout the traditional school year. And it's important to note that all of these groups use our facilities rent-free. Did you know that? Rent-free. And then beyond our state borders of North Carolina, we have the summer youth mission trips, Christmas gift kits that we recently put together, and the crop walk. The third reason we give is because we have high regard for the leadership in this church, both the staff and the volunteers. And for those of you who are still looking to plug in someplace, let me just mention some of the volunteer things that get done around here. All of the many different events at the Family Life Center. The landscaping that's done here on the church grounds. And committee work. I've been privileged to work for the last 5 years on 2 different committees. Staff Parish, which takes care of recruiting and hiring new staff. And then the Finance Committee. I'm finishing my 2nd year on the Finance Committee. These 2 groups have a big part in putting together the church budget. And I can attest to the integrity and the discipline of these people. They spend our money very carefully. We've been challenged in the last year and a half to replace 5 key people: senior pastor, associate pastor, music director, financial secretary, director of family ministry. And it's been a difficult task. It's been a difficult task because it's become more competitive as churches compete for these people. We've discovered that we have to be more competitive with our compensation packages to get good people like Ann Ferry. Yet I'm confident that good staff will continue to come to Wake Forest and Rollsville because of our mission and the time and talent commitments of our congregation. Let me give a moment of visioning that I experienced with Pastor Jim. I asked him in a meeting that I had with him before I prepared for this talk, I asked him, Jim, if you and Pastor Tyler in the Rollsville Church had 10% more revenue in 2024 compared to 2023, what would you do with that money? He paused, said, that's a good question. Actually, there are a lot of things that he and Tyler would do with that money. They'd try to get a full-time associate pastor because he's had a heck of a time trying to get a 3/4 time associate pastor. We'd offer more small groups. He'd come up with an alternative worship experience. He'd return us to 2 services here in the Wake Forest Church on Sunday mornings. He'd start remodeling of the Christian education building over here to accommodate the small groups. And Tyler, I'm sure, could add to that list. Finally, Mary and I give money to this church because we have so much gratitude for the care and comfort that we have received over the decades, wherever we have lived. I want to recall our move from the Chicago suburbs, Wheaton, Illinois, to here. Thank God we were both retired because it was one very busy year, but it couldn't have gone any more smoothly. It just felt week after week that God was holding us in his right hand. In closing, I have some requests. Please turn in your pledge card. It's hard to write a budget with having a feel for how much money you're going to have. Please turn in the pledge card or do it online. Second, do seriously consider with your family an increase in 2024 from what you gave this year. Third, try automatic debit. Mary and I have been doing this for years, so we're only thinking about our church giving once a year. And then at the beginning of the new year, we go online to the church website and change it. It's done. We were gone for almost a month in the West visiting national parks. No concern for the monthly church contribution. It was already taken care of automatically. We understand circumstances change, so change it. Just go online and change it. Fourthly, I would urge you to get involved with one of our groups. Next, ask questions. Pastor Jim meets after the worship service right back there in the parlor the first Sunday of the month for coffee and conversation with all comers. Again, after the first Sunday of the month. Finally, please pray for the mission of our church. With more disciples of Jesus, there will be more love, peace, kindness, and faithfulness for all of us. Thank you for listening.